Hello, good morning, happy Wednesday, halfway through the week, and I'm a bit tired today. We had some friends come from out of town, so spent a little bit too late up last night hanging out with them, but here I am. I am still happy to be working on this though. So if I'm a little bit slower today, that might explain it a little bit. So looking at our project, looks like we are getting in. We're gonna take a look at Bootstrap. So I think that's what we were talking about yesterday. Is can we just go ahead and use like an external framework for this, a CSS framework, and how will that work with it? I've not also worked with Tailwind myself, so we can take a look at that as well. That was another request, and we'll see how well this works. And if it does work, maybe we'll create we'll add a backlog item for creating a little course thing about it. So to begin with, let's go look at the latest website for Bootstrap. Wait, so okay, this is the latest one that just shows up for me. Let's see. It's been a while since I actually used Bootstrap. Is it... Okay, so it's using grid. All right, let's just go straight to get started. So I could download it. I could do source code. Let's do a CDN. Okay, so we have CSS. There's an optional theme that we can get. And then they have this required JavaScript. A lot of these frameworks require JavaScript in some way. Although usually you don't have to call into it yourself. It's more of adding in a style or a class or something, and then some JavaScript will sort of take over as it's watching, usually. Interesting. Okay, so this is still requiring jQuery? I thought they didn't need it anymore. Do we need to go to 4? Oh, this is... Okay, hold on. What? Alright, sorry about the brightness, but this site is unusable with that dark mode thing. Okay, so we have currently 5 beta. Okay, so yeah, what... I am confused. Okay, so that's a big change. Let's see, it's a version 5. Okay, yeah. Why was it having me going to 3 by default? Real Zellion. Hello. Let's see. So previous releases. So we're at latest is version 5.2x, which is a beta. Okay, and then I click here, and now 5.2 isn't even available. Now it's latest 5.1. Oh, okay. It's going well. I'm a bit tired today, but still happy to be here. Looking at Bootstrap, I'm a little bit confused about their versioning, sort of like the way they're displaying the versions. It just sort of like feels a little bit weird with selecting it and then like previous ones disappear, or like by default they suggested 3 as the latest one, which and a completely different design for the site, which is very, very interesting. But okay. Here we go. So we're gonna have this CSS link here. There's no jQuery required anymore, right? I don't think so. How is Yew for building websites though? Yes, so Yew is pretty good for building websites. I like it a lot. You can build well. So think of Yew as sort of like React, uh, which you can use React to build full stack websites. Absolutely, it's great for that. Uh, there is server side rendering. I haven't played around with it yet. That's something that would probably go into more like an advanced sort of use case. The way I often use my front end applications is I don't really use it. I don't really need like the speed required for that. Mostly because I'm not using it in that same sort of like um, methods. Uh, well, you change your name many times for a reason, and you can change it more. Goodbye. But yes, React is basically anywhere you can use React, you can use Yew, and the same sort of like lessons that you would learn from programming in React, you all like help you in Yew too. So like thinking in components, thinking and understanding the hooks, things like that are really helpful. And then of course you've got the normal type safety that comes from Rust, which is also really nice. Why would one use Rust? Why would one use Yew and not something like React, Vue, etc.? I mean, so like the big obvious reason is because you want to, right? So if you have full control over the technology stack that you're using for a project, and you don't have any like big requirements for like, okay, the only developers we can hire are React, or we like, I know React and this, like we need to get something out really quickly. Like those things would be reasons to go to stay with React or Vue or Angular, especially the hiring part. Like if you're running with a company and hiring Rust developers is actually really hard still. Not just because it's like hard to teach Rust, although it can take some time. It's just there's not very many Rust developers to take jobs because they just get jobs right away, and they're not really available in the pool yet. So it's going to be one of those things. You tried building an API in Rust, was really a headache. Out of curiosity, which framework did you try? Were you using? I've played around with a few APIs. I think my current favorite is gonna be Axum, Rocket or something. Rocket is pretty good. I like Rocket. Axum's I like Axum right now. It's the one made by the Tokyo team. And then Actix Web is also good, although it's changed a lot since I've last looked at it. So it's been a while. Yeah, I think one of the things is like web in Rust is interesting because we are working a lot with JSON. We are working a lot with a lot of other things. You want to get into Rust mainly because of WebGL. Oh, you have worked with C++ previously. So yeah, I don't actually know what WebGL is available with Rust. Uh, is like, does WebAssembly work with? Wow, is WebAssembly even necessary for WebGL? I don't think so, right? I don't actually know enough about WebGL to like know how to target it or do anything with that. That could be a potential interesting sort of like project to sort of like look into. Is like, how can I like kind of use WebGL? You've worked with C++ recently or previously. Yeah, I've heard that people with C or C++ experience, like a lot of it, is it's a little bit rougher of a start with Rust. I think it's because there's similarities in strange places where then you have to unlearn things, and that's always harder for people coming from like JavaScript or Python. They don't have any of those lessons that they've learned as true for like, you know, one of their just how to program, and it's a little bit easier in some ways, and of course, you know, you have to learn about memory and everything else, but you had to do that event, you know, with C eventually. All right, so we are setting up this here. So let's go into our index.html and we'll add in, okay, so I have a reset here, but I think we're gonna get rid of this Meyer reset because I'm pretty sure that that's included with Bootstrap. I mean, I think all the frameworks have some kind of reset built into them. They also need JavaScript, so let's just bundle that together. And we'll put that at the end of the body here. Can you do server-side rendering with Yew? So yes, you can. I've heard it's maybe a little bit of pain with the version 0.19 right now, but we haven't tried it yet. There is, I saw that, oh, who was it? Oh, there's a streamer that was doing some server-side rendering. I forget who it was. That looks like they were getting it done successfully, and I see people chatting about it on the Yew Discord. So I definitely know it's possible and it works. I don't know how well it works though. So usually when I deploy my front-end apps, I almost always do it as like a separate static front end than and doesn't have a back end. So oftentimes I don't even have server-side rendering like capable for me because I don't even have a server. It would be interesting to see if I run into a situation in which I'm gonna need that, or it's gonna be really nice, and then I'll sort of like switch over and start figuring that out. So like right now, my method of deployment is to compile the code, deploy the built compiled code to an S3 bucket, and then use CloudFront to serve those out as like static files, and that works decently well so far. Okay, so we have, here is our JavaScript for Bootstrap in here. Don't need to do separate. All right, so now, does it just work? Okay, so it compiled, our code is running. Here's our Hello World app. Do I have light mode on? Or did I turn off dark mode? No, I have this. Color scheme. Oh, color scheme light or dark. So hold on, let me go into. Where's that? General. No, I have dark mode on. Yeah, this should not worry about that. It should figure this out. Our Real Zellian, well, it was great to say hi to you. Have a great rest of your day. And thank you. Bullfirst Dad, hello. You got a new vein at the gym today? I'm thinking like a blood vein, but like usually we don't develop new veins. What do you mean? I'm also not like a gym person, so maybe it's like a term that I don't really know. Okay, we'll turn that on first for a minute or two. Okay, so let's see if we can create this top nav bar. Wait, let's see if I can actually use theirs. You had a big enough pump and lost enough fat for a new vein in your arm to show. Oh, that's what it means. Okay, well that's awesome. Congratulations. That sounds like a great sort of like metric to use to like see how good things are going. Yeah, I do remember I did lose a bunch of weight, and one of the benefits is that when I go in to get blood drawn, it's a little bit easier for the nurses to actually draw blood and not just constantly poke until they get the veins. So, congratulations, that's awesome. All right, what do I want to do? I want to go to the Docker documentation and let's see if we can create that top nav bar and actually use their, let's see if we can find theirs. So, probably not layout. Oh, wait, nav bar. Navbars require a wrapping navbar with navbar expand for responsive collapsing and color scheme classes. Okay, so we're going to get something like this. So I have this nav class navbar. All right, well, let's try this. As a blood donor and a part-time volunteer that draws blood, you can confirm it's a nightmare when you're overweight or just have naturally hidden veins. Yeah, the one of the things that I try to do, and this is sort of like a little like trick that I didn't realize for the longest time, is that exercise can open up the veins. So, and also plenty of hydration and water. So, if you're both well hydrated and you walk/jog to the clinic where they're drawing blood, that will probably give the largest, like the highest chance of them just getting a first try. That's what I've noticed for myself. Okay, so let's see if we can sort of pull this in and start like playing around with it. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on my other screen so I can just reference it. And let's go find our top menu here, and we're gonna add this in. So we're gonna start over with this. We're gonna have a nav. Now they want, we probably don't need this class anymore. We're gonna see how far we can get without it, because one of the benefits of using something like Bootstrap or Tailwind is that we're using all of their classes instead. So, okay, class equals, we have navbar, navbar expand, large, Navbar light. Oh, we can do navbar dark, I think. Hold on, is that what they said? I wonder if I can do navbar dark. And BG dark. Okay, so just starting with this. Here we go. Should be rebuilding any second now. We don't have, or are you failing? The set key, that should be fine. You're fine. Okay, there it goes. So it disappeared. I think this is the bar right up there. It's really hard to see. You can't wait to start computer science this fall? Well, that should be a lot of fun. I never really finished computer science. My favorite courses were the early ones. The ones that are sort of like about history and like generic stuff and how computers work. Then like I got into Java programming with it, and I just lost all interest and didn't like it. It wasn't good. I just ended up dropping out and going into computer information technology instead, which is a much fancier way of saying systems administration, networking, that kind of thing. Okay, so then we have this div class container fluid inside of it. Now, I don't think it's going to matter until we have something in here. So let's go ahead and put this A tag. Right, that's going to have our brand. So we're going to have class equals navbar brand. Sure, it's an href that just goes to nothing. And this will be, just call it the same thing we have here, navbar. I've already learned computer logic and assembly from previous biomed courses, so you think you have an edge on the others. Yeah, you should have that. Ooh, look at there. And now we have this navbar. I can barely see the edge of this here. Yeah, it's like changing my angle to the monitor helps a little bit so I don't have all the lights in my eyes. But yeah, I can see like this is now a nice large navbar that we have there. So let's say I want to replace this with that logo that we have, which is this BB icon. And the BB icon, I wonder if I would even need to like create this as a separate component anymore. We would want this to be an A tag too. It's like, what if I do that, and then inside of here, instead of navbar like that, I then also do BB icon. What do you need? And oh, because you're showing an image, right? An alt, a source, a width, and a height. Let me try just doing an image on its own instead of a BB icon. So if I do image source equals, that's going to be this Brooks. Oh, static docs.png. And then we need an alt tag. So alt is going to be, what am I thinking? Let's build icon. And if I don't put a width and a height, I think it auto figures it out, maybe. Or is it going to be really, really, really big? Because yeah. Okay, so it's gonna be a little bit too big. So if I don't put you in here, are there any images? Sizing, okay. Easily make an element as wide or as tall with our width and height utilities. So I can do this class H100 maybe with this image. So and I just want it to be as tall as that I guess like the navbar element. So if we do that, let's see if this makes it nice and a little bit smaller. Okay, so you discovered the other day that there are tons of cities like Suomi in Finland or Amsterdam where people mostly bike or walk everywhere. Really put into perspective how much focus countries like the US put on vehicle transportation instead of pedestrians. Yes. So in Colorado, well, so Colorado has a lot of space between places. So like if I want to go anywhere and I want to be there in any like decent amount of time, I have to take some kind of vehicle. Now that might be a bus, but like where I live, I don't live like, you know, near a central bus hub. So I would have to take a bus to another bus, and then that would allow me to get to where I'm going. So it would be hours and hours and hours. It would be much faster and usually cheaper to just take a car. That being said, I have a bike. I'm actually getting a bike repaired, like my bike checked up and sort of like set up today. There are bike paths all the way around. There's even a bike path between cities. So I want to sort of like check out those and play around with them. But I know some people that like can bike everywhere and generally don't worry about needing a car. And I think in the city, you can do that decently well. Isn't the public transport system in the U.S. heavily underfunded and mostly ignored? You know, people from the U.S. who have to walk miles to their place of work because no buses go there and they don't have a car. Yeah, I think that's the problem, is that if you don't live near a central bus hub, even if there's a bus that goes there, it's usually one of the side buses, and those are absolutely terrible. And they constantly sort of like change the schedule, so it's hard to sort of like predict sometimes. They're very like different on like, okay, on like weekends the schedule is this, at nights the schedule is, it's like every 15 minutes at rush hour, but then it's every hour during the day, and then it's every like 4 hours on a weekend or something like that. So it can be a little bit hard to sort of like show up and have a bus just like be ready for you. You know, that being said, like I can usually like ride to another city and then take a bus back pretty easily. And then there's applications on the phone to help schedule with those. think once you graduate, you're going to spend your money on a really nice e-bike instead of a car, especially with gas prices being how they are. And Sweden's pretty bike-friendly country with bike lanes mostly everywhere. There was, so it didn't work, but Denver attempted to shut down a big street through the middle of town, and we're talking like, you know, a normal city street. So it would be like 4 lanes, 2 lanes each direction. They were thinking about like shutting that down and turning it into a bike super highway straight through the middle of the city. That would have been amazing. I would have loved that, because then you can take a bike path into town and then use that without worrying about being hit by cars all the way through the city to the other side. It would have been great, but I don't think it even came close to passing. There's too many non-bikers here that don't want that. That being said, I'm gonna see if I can like start doing more biking. Once I get my bike sort of like set up again, I wanna bike around a little bit more. If nothing more than just for the exercise. Okay, so H1, this class didn't hit the height of here, so sort of like hoping that it would. Out of curiosity, what did that do to it? So we have this H100, which I love how they put so many importance in these, which I'm not really super always happy about. Can I change you to like a 75? No, I need to change you to a 75. Or like a 50. Yeah, okay, so that's not doing anything. So I read this wrong. Width and height utilities are generated from the utility API in utilities SCSS. Include support for 25, 50. Okay, not by default. Modify this value as okay. Oh, they have like a max width and max height too. As much as a car guy you are, you do see them more as a necessary evil than anything else. They're too expensive, they lose value more than any other asset after 5 years, and they release tons of emissions. If you have to eventually get a car for a family, you're making sure it's electric, you care too much about the environment for anything else. So my I don't have an electric car, but my parents do. And they were talking about driving to another city, sort of like to be with friends. And things are still so spread apart in the United States that unless the cities are really close together, you're still having to like, okay, let me plan where my recharge for the electric. Is it still open? Is it gonna have a line? Are we gonna have to wait for hours and hours and hours to get into the recharge? What's the how bad is it if that one, like, what's our backup emergency plan? Because like they'll be stranded if like that one isn't open. So it can be rough still with electric right now. If you're in one city, I think it's great though, because there's like chargers everywhere within cities. It's just like the highways between cities, sometimes there's lots of space, and it could be hundreds of miles that you're going before you would potentially see one. KO2 fan, hello. You looked into getting an electric car when you lived in the US, but the electricity causes more pollution than oil for much of the US. Yeah, that's true right now. Although the way I sort of like think about it is more of an investment in the future. Yeah, it pollutes right now more, but in the long run, it might switch demand over to such methods that cause less. So I sort of think of it as it's a it costs more now, but maybe it's an investment into something that will be less later. Missouri is especially bad because 80% of electricity comes from coal. Yeah, I hear that. Sweden's pretty good at that. More than half our electricity comes from renewable resources, with most of that coming from water. What kind of water electricity is it? I've been hearing different things from like Japan's looking for new sources of electricity after their nuclear power plant problem, sort of like meltdown that happened, and it's like some interesting things they've been researching, but they're still like nowhere close to like having enough electricity that can replace a nuclear power plant. Okay, so what can I do here? So we have this. Oh, look at this. Wait. They have. Oh, max height 100. Height 200. Interesting. Okay. So they're setting the height here. Now can I see what is like the height of this? Like, can I actually figure out what the height of it is, or is it just automatically figuring that out? In which case, I'm just gonna have to set this to be a height, which seems a little bit unfortunate because I think I would lose some I would lose some style stuff. So if I do image source, I guess if we don't do class here, and I just do a height of maybe let's try like 100 pixels and just see how that feels. In the UK, we keep being told we use very little external energy, but our energy prices are up by 300%. I mean, that feels like that might just be inflation, right? Okay, I want to remove this and see how tall you are. They're talking about bringing coal back in the UK to reduce prices of energy. I mean, I guess that'll work temporarily. All right, so this is how height it is, which is 15 pixels is a default height. So that's pretty small. So basically it's going to grow to be whatever size that I want it to be, with 15 pixels being sort of like the default for that. So what if I were to say, we do a class max height is it'd be like relative to this thing. Max height 100, I guess. So max height dash 100. So mh dash 100. And then height, let's put this as like 25 pixels. Or do I set a height on one of the others? So in 2021, we produced a lot of gigawatt hours of electricity, 43 coming from hydropower, 31% nuclear, 17% wind, 9% thermal, and 1% solar. That's nice that you have like so many different types too, because that way, no matter what happens, you have at least some source of electricity coming in. All right, so that's pretty small. Is that must be the 25 pixels, right? So if I Yeah, okay. I can make that a little bit bigger. So something like 40% actually doesn't look too bad. Okay, so let's start with like 40 pixels. KO2 fan, you considered moving to Sweden, but chose Germany due to the difficulty of learning Swedish. We have lots of forests and have a relatively small country surrounded by water. Yeah, United States is like huge, and there's so many different like almost like small countries sort of like working together. It makes everything very difficult. I'd actually like to move somewhere else in Scandinavia, either Denmark or Finland. So I've never been to Europe. It's one of the places I want to go and travel around and sort of like visit different places. There's so many like old history and so much interesting towns and cities that I do want to go like see them. All right, so we'll stay with this. We have you as a link, although this does nothing right now. We'll have to like set up a router, and then we can have it route us back to Slash. Then next to that, we can have maybe like a Brooks builds. So I wouldn't do that in the A tag. I would do that outside of it here. So what if I were to put just Brooks builds? How would that look? Oh, when you're growing up, you're told Hoover Dam could produce enough electricity for most countries. This might be possible for the U.S. I don't know. I don't remember. Yeah, I don't actually know enough about the Hoover Dam and how much electricity it actually produces. Whenever we went on vacations as a kid, mostly to Egypt, so you haven't had the chance to travel much in Europe either. Oh, interesting. Okay, so you went a little bit farther away. Okay, so that put this over here. Interesting. So first of all, I want you to be 40 pixels. Second, I want you to be in this left-hand side. So does that mean I want navbar brand maybe around like another div like this? And so, okay, we'll have the containing div have our navbar brand, and then we'll have our A tag inside of that. So that way it'll be on the left. Yeah, that works. Our image is a little bit off from this. Our font size, what are you? Okay, so body line height is 1.5, whatever units that is. I wonder if I can use rems in the HTML height. Will that work? So can I say something like I want 1 rem? No. Okay. I cannot. So if I remove height from here, can I add on you a height tag of 1 rem? Yes. And I would potentially want to do something like this, where it's just 2 rem. Okay, that really didn't do anything for that. Okay, but 2rem for that might be a little bit better and make it a little bit easier. Although it does seem, it feels a little bit like the image is. It's like the Brooksville's text slightly not in the center of that. It feels like it is, but like the image might like make it look like it's not. It's hard to tell. Wiki says Hoover Dam only generates 4 billion kilowatt hours. Maybe we used far less power back in the 80s. Well, there was a lot less of us, so we probably. Also, we didn't all have personal computers back then. So yeah, probably what it was. Twisted Seed, hello. You think Finland would be very nice? You already speak 2 to 3 of the languages they learn there. They have some of the world's best education systems and heavily encourages biking or walking over driving. You think all the Scandinavian countries are good? It's like these are more reasons for me to go and like visit. I want to go and visit all these places and just sort of like see and explore the world. It's a lot nicer than like only staying in like my own country. Even if like different states sometimes feel like vastly different places, different countries obviously have a lot different cultures, and it would be great to sort of expose myself to them. All right, so let's do that, which means I don't need this height here. Now, one of the ways that we can do this sort of like styled components things is I could do inline inline here, where I say, all right, we have class is going to equal to, we're going to do CSS, and then we can just have some inline styles here, as it were. So in this case, I want my image to be a height of 2 rem. And is there anything else that I care about this? I have height of 2 rem and what else we're looking at? I think that was it. Okay, so save view, and this should now just sort of be what I want it to be. Oh, so a lot of people are sort of like segregating into their own areas. That makes sense. Sorry, I'm distracted by a bug that's crawling towards me on the ground, but it doesn't appear to be a spider. So, hold on, I'm gonna pick it up and take it somewhere. All right, it's been safely moved outside. He'll be falling down onto bug hunt duties. I know, I sometimes feel bad when he finds a bug and I haven't noticed, because you know, he's a cat. He thinks it's more of an interactive toy to play with, and he won't really sort of like he'll do the entire thing where he just like gently pats it, puts his hand down and see, are you alive? And then it moves and he's like, oh, yes. And then it's just playtime, which is really torture by accident. Okay, so we have you. This seems to be fine. So we have the name of our app. This seems so far so good. Sort of like to add this in easily. Oh man, it's been so long since I've used Bootstrap to like to think about like where do I want to add things in. Like even if I just do grid stuff, just using that that nav bar makes things easier. Oh, can I use this BG dark? Can I use this BG dark in like main? That would be the next question. So we have this BG dark here. So can I take this, go back to app and put it here? And is this going to make it so I can turn off dark mode at this one? I will be a little late to class today. I am not sure how late, but I will be there. I've been trying to find a way out of my room for about 20 minutes. There's a big bug between me and the door, and when I move, it moves. And when it flies, its wings make this awful whirring noise like some vassal of horror. We are locked in a stalemate. I am at every disadvantage, and wholeheartedly believe the bug is aware of this. Respectfully, I am in tears. Also, send help, right? Okay, let's turn this off now. Nope, that didn't do it. Also, oh, see, turn it off now, but lets me see. This is not right. No, this is the wrong size here. Why do I have two of these, essentially? Oh, wait, this is the hello world. Oh, it is dark mode. Okay, so I need this on body. You had to write it out when you heard there's a bug. Yeah, no, it was like a baby one of those sort of just standard little buggies that like walk around. It was just on the carpet. It was just probably came in through one of the windows and just sort of was heading towards the closet. The ones that sort of get me, and I'm not like fully arachnophobic, but I do have like I think some latent arachnophobia because I freeze when I see a spider unexpectedly, and it can take a lot for me to like actually handle a spider as opposed to just out instinctively kill it out of like, okay, I just need to deal with this right now and get it out of my sight. So those are the things where it's like, okay, I'm just gonna paddle it. All right, so I think I needed to put my dark mode not on hello, but on like the body. So this can't go here because this is just dark mode for this entire thing, unless I also put a height on this. Can I put a what was it? It was a height 100 on this div right here. Yeah, this div. So can I say that your height is 100%? No, that doesn't do anything. I would have to do something like 100, was it VH 100? 100 VH? That would do it. That would make it nice and dark. And the full height. Now you just have acrophobia. Oh, you used to have nyctophobia. I don't know what that is. You have acrophobia and a fear of heights. I used to not have sort of like fears in like planes and taking off and landing, but I developed one. I don't know why. Just sort of like slowly joined in. It's like as I'm getting older, it's just like, okay, weird little fears are like growing up. It's like these are the mental scars from a life, I guess. Oh, fear of the dark. And nyctophobia is dark. Acrophobia is heights. Okay. So fear of the dark and the height. I guess like these days there's so much light around that I guess it could be like you could find ways to deal with that, right? Or is it the darkness outside of the circle of light? Because in that case, yeah, that's gonna be really pretty tough. And I feel for you. Let's see. Oh, you can't sleep without it being pitch black. Interesting. I tried to do that. It's pretty tough to like cover every window with like the like light blocking shades and like get a good seal on it. Let's see. So I want this height to be that one. Now, if I set body, okay, so let's remove this class from here and remove you from here. And I set this class here. So class equals BG dark. Ah, that works. Okay. So I want to add this onto the body. Class BG dark. Okay. So then that would be an index HTML. We'll throw you on there and then we'll remove you from this div here. Especially hard here. It doesn't start to get dark until like 10 p.m. and then it's bright again around 3 a.m. Oh wow. Yeah, that's right now it's at the longest days and it's not getting darker until around like 9 p.m. or so, but like I'm waking up at like 6 a.m. and it's like there's some brightness, but it's not like super bright. And it doesn't start getting bright. Like if I woke up at 5, it would be dark outside. Okay, so we're back to here. That hello world is completely... okay, so if I do BG dark, how do I make that visible? Do I have to put that into a container? There is a bug for you to visit and play with. No? Here you can see they'll be hanging around the camera. I moved the box around to see if he'll like it there a little bit more. Kind of. He jumped into it yesterday. Okay, so... let me see if I can... there, you can sort of see him hanging out in his box. What was that? Sylvie. Okay, emergency evacuation, I guess. All right, so we have dark mode for that. The text, hello world, is pretty dark. So I wonder if we need something like a container class on here. So we have dot container, which sets a max width at each respective breakpoint, and then container fluid, which is 100% at all container. Okay, so let's do dot container first. Is that going to make that text Oh, that's not what I want. That's really centered. Okay, so I want container fluid. Okay, so that brings it there. This is still unreadable. So do I need like a class background dark to tell you, hey, the background is dark, be light mode? No. Okay. Stacking, hello. Oh, I'm setting the font size stuff here, aren't I? Wait a second. So should I remove that? You've got you. If I just comment you out, what does this change? Makes things smaller. It's still like, this is not necessarily super hard to read. So this is fine for me, but that H1 is still like not showing up. How do I tell? How do I tell Bootstrap that that's like its own dark mode is here, and therefore the text color should be light? Okay, use body background to set a background color on a body. Okay. Oh, so use body background to set a background color on the body. Oh, this is like a CSS variable that we set. Oh, which is this FFFF by default. Okay. So I don't, okay. I think I did this wrong. So I don't do this. We do a style. Wait, no. I'll turn you off. And this is body BG. Is it just like this to set those? How do I set a variable in CSS? It has definitely been a long time. Can I just do something like this? Body BG is like, I don't know, black. No is the answer. It's very much not liking that. CSS variables. Okay, so I don't see the $sign being used for this. So is that actually Sass that they're talking about? Is this Sass? I kind of wish they had a example of this. These styles can be found within Reboot Sass, and the global variables are defined in variable Sass. Make sure to set font size base. Okay, so yeah, okay, this would be in Sass, so I would have to basically download Bootstrap and then set those Sass files and then update them. So that's not sort of like what I want to do. So if I do background dark, how do I tell you color-wise to be light? So I don't... They have all of these things sort of set up for me. Images. Okay, so did we look at these before? I don't think so. Image thumbnails. Okay, so we could do an image thumbnail to give a rounded 1 pixel border. I don't really need to do that. So if I wanted to do like a dark mode, I would need to... I'll need to include... I don't actually know what I would do for this. It would be nice if there was just like a single variable that I could have flip. So I can just say like, hey, this class goes to like dark mode versus BG light or something like that. Which what I was kind of hoping would happen if I did like BG dark here. It would just make everything dark, but then make this text bright. And in the nav bar that worked. This text is light. So I have navbar, navbar. Oh, because I have navbar dark. BG dark. If I removed navbar dark, that would go away, wouldn't it? Ah, okay. So there's another dark class probably that we need to find. So let's search for all the darks. Okay, so we can do carousel dark. So it's not okay. It wouldn't be navbar dark. What other dash dark is there? What? Okay, dark. That's it. Wait, you can't even fight the navbar dark. Oh, come on. I don't want to. Okay, so I don't want to customize it. I want the typography to all be light mode, or like, I guess like to all be dark mode, but I don't know if you have just like a class you can throw in body or something to tell it, okay, everything is now dark or light. Okay, so there's this text light. Okay, so if you do text light, background dark. Okay, so what if I put text light, background dark on body? So background dark, text light. And yeah, it's that. There we go. Now our hello world shows up. Okay. And then if I wanted to do like a different color for that, we can do this text success, let's say, to make it nice and green. So then in our app, I don't have to give you background dark. The entire body knows that. This is now going to be text success, let's say. Interesting. You're yelling at me. Oh, about this. I'm surprised that even works. And there we go. Okay, so that works decently well. Okay. So what we did is we learned that we can bring in Bootstrap and sort of get things going fairly easily here in Yew land. So I want to come back to you. Let's add in intro to Yew.rs course. There's like addendum again, which is going to be adding Bootstrap to the project. So I want to add that in there. Can we add Bootstrap into Yew? We absolutely did, and we did both of those things, and it was great. So that's done. Next, I want to take a look at Tailwind. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I've never used it, whatever. So maybe tomorrow we'll do that. And then we've been collecting a few of these lessons that we can do. So after that, we'll probably dive into a few of these and get those recorded and put up onto into like the end of the Introduction to Yew.rs course. Yew. We added in Bootstrap and set up a project for dark mode. And those changes have been pushed up in case you want to go take a look at them yourselves. I am all good here. And excellent. All right, well, unfortunately, I am going to have to go off and do the rest of my day. I do have a meeting coming up fairly shortly that I'm running in the morning. So I do have to go prepare for that. So anyways, thank you everybody for hanging out with me today. We had a, tomorrow I'll be back at 7 a.m. Mountain Time, and we will we'll be looking into Tailwind. So with that, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you then. Bye.